In 1997 and 8, after archaeological excavation, we were able to precisely define the contour and location of the ruined city.
Goggio's team uses red buoys to make an outline of the sunken discoveries. Following Strabo's clues, Goggio is now finally able to bring a lost world into view. His map offers entry into the Queen's domain. A palace where Cleopatra seduced Julius Caesar, mighty commander of the Roman legions. The waterfront where her companion, Mark Antony, built a private sanctuary just months before he took his own life. And finally, Antirodos, Cleopatra's royal island.
I never thought one day I will be able to map the whole of the royal quarters. Now we know we are just at the beginning of a great scientific adventure.
For the first time in nearly 2,000 years, Queen Cleopatra's royal palaces may receive new visitors. Having mapped the ancient port of Alexandria, Goggio narrows his search to the sunken island of Antirodos.
Mohammed and Mustafa, you could go and clean the hieroglyph.
It was here, in 26 BC, that the geographer Strabo saw Cleopatra's luxurious summer home 4 years after her death. But he provides no clue to where the palace stood. Now it's up to Goggio and his divers to find it.
An archaeological excavation, it's like a big puzzle. Very tiny information fill gaps.
The site itself is enormous, 27 hectares, in waters so murky that visibility is often limited to arm's length. When artifacts are found, they must be placed along a scale of time, on which Cleopatra's life is but a brief moment. In this treasure house of history, artisans left precious clues. 8 blocks inscribed with Egyptian hieroglyphs, a wealth of information for the modern scholars who can read them. Strips of flexible silicone are sent down to make copies of the text. One engraving is a dedication to gods whose cult ended 1,000 years before Cleopatra's birth. Other inscriptions are in Greek. A tablet honors an emperor who ruled 2 centuries after Cleopatra's death. the eastern tip of the submerged island, divers discovered two long rows of wooden stakes. They are the foundation of an ancient jetty and a valuable clue. The age of the wood can be determined.
It dates back from the 4th century BC and 5th century BC. And this is very interesting.
The jetty was here long before Cleopatra. It's an encouraging find. If it survived all those years, there's a chance Cleopatra's world also did. By the time Cleopatra assumed the throne, Anti-Rhodos was a thriving royal port, prime real estate for the palace of an ambitious beauty and her famous lovers. Elated by the discovery of the ancient docks, Goggio looks for traces of buildings from Cleopatra's reign. Across the harbor, divers have uncovered dozens of distinctly Greek columns. Cleopatra's ancestors came from Greece, and they imported their style to Egypt. Sharp edges resemble columns found in Athens, but carved in native Egyptian granite. Stones that were placed at the top of the columns are decorated with traditional Egyptian symbols. May have formed elegant colonnades, sheltering the queen and her entourage as they boarded their royal vessels. Anchored above Cleopatra's sunken island, Goggio is following a trail described only by the ancient geographer Strabo in 27 BC. Goggio knows there was a palace on Anti-Rhodos Island. From here, the royal family could have looked out across the bustling harbor toward the great lighthouse. Goggio's divers have chipped away at encrusted ruins at the southwest corner of the sunken island. Now, their labor pays off. The divers discover a series of giant columns cut from red Egyptian granite.
On the southwest tip of Anti-Rhodos Island, we found an accumulation of red granite columns fallen into the port. We counted 60 pieces. They are huge, over 4 feet in diameter.
The ruptured columns cover 60 meters of the bay floor. Shattered pottery beneath them suggests they fell during an earthquake centuries after Cleopatra's death. Paintings from the ancient world indicate that the columns might have acted as a ceremonial gateway to the island.